Let me welcome everybody who's joining us today. I'm Graham Walker from the Independent Institute in Oakland, California, and we're welcoming today David Theroux and Dr. Williamson Evers. David Theroux, you are the founder and president of the Independent Institute. Have I got that right?
Yes.
Thank you for the good work you've done with Independent. Also, we welcome Dr. Williamson Evers. Bill Evers is the director of our Center on Educational Excellence. Welcome, Bill.
Thank you.
So glad you're all here with us today. We are gathered in this conversation today just because we have something very timely and important that the Independent Institute has been developing. Specifically, you have developed an open letter signed by some 150 economists and political scientists in California about AB-5. For those who are listening in, you should go to our website, independent.org, and you'll see featured prominently there our information about AB-5. What is AB-5, gentlemen, and why is it important? Let's start with David Theroux.
Well, AB-5 is Assembly Bill 5, which was passed last year, 2019. It essentially restricts and or eliminates independent contracting for employment. So that would be something that would affect people in transportation, in healthcare, in the media, in construction, virtually any field, restaurant workers, and so on and so forth. And there are a lot of well-intentioned people who push for it. It was controversial, but in the midst of the coronavirus crisis, it's created a whole new problem. And perhaps Dr. Evers could address that.
Yeah, explain that, please, Bill.
Right. So just elaborating on what independent contractors are. So some people work for companies and they have a supervisor, and the supervisor oversees their work and sets their time and their work tasks, and they have an elaborate benefits package and so forth. But independent contractors are contracting with a company to do their own work. They are not supervised. They're acting out on their own. So when
basically entrepreneurs on their own, right?
Yes,
like,
exactly.
This is like the gig economy.
It's the gig economy. So if you are delivering for Postmates, for Grubhub, for DoorDash, you are an independent contractor. If you are a physical therapist, you are probably an independent contractor. You relate to some therapy center or some hospital, but you are setting your own hours if you're doing home visits. If you're a construction person who operates independently, and so you're not under a contractor, but you're a handyman, let's say, or you do an individual project, you are an independent contractor. Perhaps you're some labor bureau or some hardware store puts the people in touch with you, but you are making the deal.
Right. Now,
so the state was saying, can't do this anymore. You have to become a regular employee.
Mm-hmm.
But that adds to the costs of companies.
Mm-hmm.
And it denies the flexibility to these workers who like to be in charge of their own lives, their own work lives. And because the companies can't handle this extra cost, and because it's illegal for the people to do these things on their own, people have lost their jobs and companies have had to drop people that they were willingly working with. So now we're in the coronavirus.
Well, now before you go there, this affects people like musicians and writers too, does it?
Yes. Yes, you could be a freelance writer. Let's say you wrote a regular column for the Sacramento Bee or the Los Angeles Times,
right?
But you weren't an employee, but they paid you per submission. Once you go over a certain amount, they can't ask you to do it anymore. They can't pay you to do it. You have to become an employee. Well, the Los Angeles Times is practically bankrupt anyway. They can't take on new people. They're firing people right and left.
Okay, so David Theroux, there must have been some sort of official rationale for why somebody somewhere in a majority of the state legislature thought this was a good idea. What's the official reason behind this?
Well, I think the official reason was that this would protect contract people from being abused and exploited. I think that was the official reason. However, it overlooks the fact that for a lot of people, they want to set their own hours.
They do, yeah.
This is especially true for working women who want to work part-time or out of their home, including healthcare workers and so forth. But as Bill was about to say, the thing that has really creeped into the situation, making it really a major issue and a major problem, especially for those most disadvantaged, has been the coronavirus crisis.
So there's a leap now in the need for delivery people. So I live in the area where Albertsons is a big grocery store. In Northern California, it's Safeway. So you can get groceries delivered by Albertsons. They do it through DoorDash. And they're probably doing it illegally under this law. These people are not Albertsons employees.
Right.
Right?
So they could get penalized under the law.
Yes, they could. The law could come down on them like a ton of bricks. And if you are, and let's say somebody springs a leak in their house and they don't call a plumber, they have a handyman that they've used in the past, well, that man might not be, or woman might not be able to come and do it. And there are a kind of registered nurse who always has operated freelance. They don't only concentrate on one hospital or one clinic. They work around, they might even work in different states depending on intensity of diseases that exist. This is blocking all that in a time when we need all the health work, and we need intensity of this disease is different in different places. We need to have mobility and flexibility. The governor has allowed a certain amount of flexibility in medical things. For example,
notice that. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
For example, nurses who have not completed their full training, they haven't done their practicum, they are allowed to leap over that and go work.
Right, we really do.
We need these nurses to be able to.
So we had these regulations that are supposedly protecting people, but actually what they're doing is restricting their ability to work and support themselves,
So
which was bad enough. But now
here are these endangered people, the elderly, the infirm, the immobile, the people with diabetes, with asthma, with pneumonia. They need somebody that can deliver things to them. And yet the government is blocking this. On the other hand, because of the coronavirus, because of the lockdown, because of people being furloughed all over the economy, there were lots of people who could do delivery work, who could be handymen, who could do various things that are needed to help the people who are in trouble. And yet this legislation did not have the foresight to anticipate the coronavirus.
Right.
And so it should be suspended.
Of course, it's not just delivery people, but also various people who are furloughed, who can't go into work. They could be doing productive things from home, but they are at risk of being penalized for breaking the law of
AB-5.
AB-5, yeah. So the two of you have gotten together, and what have you done to try and get the word out to change this? David?
Well, we worked with a number of our fellows and other economists in particular to draft a letter to Governor Newsom and all members of the state legislature and explain in a very clear, straightforward way the problem and the need to suspend AB-5, because as Bill was saying, the people most endangered by this epidemic need attention. They need care, they need delivery. And to the governor's credit, when he relaxed other rules affecting healthcare workers, within one day there were applications for 25,000 health workers to come to the aid of these people. So the talent is there and the interest is there. It's just this restriction is preventing those two to come together.
So this open letter, who signed it?
It was signed by over 150 economists and political scientists, all with PhDs from 37 colleges and universities in California, and other institutions of higher education. It includes Nobel laureate Vernon Smith. It includes economists from and political scientists from almost all the University of California, California State University campuses. It's from University of Southern California, from Occidental, from Stanford. So this is a great cross-section of the best. And they all understand that this really is an emergency situation and we shouldn't let this continue.
Even people who might think that it might have been a good idea under ordinary conditions are realizing that we can't afford to restrict this kind of economic activity because the common good, which includes the economic good and the public health good, is going to be harmed if AB-5 stands in place.
And it's also the decent thing to do. This is not a good thing for our society that this blockage is here.
Yeah.
So who's going to pay attention to this, and what do you think they could do about it?
We're sending it to all the state legislators and to the governor. They can suspend this.
Right. It's a very straightforward thing, and I think that in this, especially in this emergency situation when people are locked down and housebound, and many people in need of work and many people in need of care, the whole problem can be greatly alleviated by simply suspending this measure.
I am looking for good results from this open letter. It's already getting a lot of attention. I invite those who are tuning in with us for this conversation today to take a look at the open letter themselves. As I said, it's available on independent.org in the center of our main page. I believe that there are press releases going out, maybe even as we speak, and those of us, those who care for our well-being in Sacramento, I hope are going to be paying attention. For us at the Independent Institute, I think we see this as one of a number of examples where limitations and restraints by the government on economic activity actually put us in a much more vulnerable position than we would otherwise have been at the outbreak of this epidemic. So let's roll back these things and put people in a position to earn money, take care of themselves, and serve the common good. Thanks for your good work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, take care then. Bye-bye.